Alright, should have started. So, another draftphysics.com video presentation. Yeah. Ugh. So, it's his usual stuff. People make these arguments, they make these statements, you're supposed to try to make something out of them, like, okay, what's your point? Okay, do you have a point? And no, not really. They don't have a point. So they have repeatedly used this word inertia. Now I can go to, because I can go here. This is what Google says. Inertia. Okay. It's pretty much not a thing. I mean, by definition, a tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged. I mean, it's nothing. This is almost like arguing free will and then having somebody explain what a free is and how a free would help you in some way. Property of matter by which it continues in its existing state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless the state is changed by an external force that would change it. Let's understand, forces cause momentum. That's pretty much what everybody says, the physicists say. So again, they're arguing with, not me, they're arguing with conventional physics when they say something on the outside that has to move twice the speed or something has more inertia. It doesn't have any more inertia. It doesn't have any extra anything in terms of either a rest state or an emotion state. It's just dependent on its mass, and that'll tell you how much energy you have to apply. So I just have made this point that you can't just sit there and say to me inertia. You have to explain what the hell inertia is, how it would be relevant. We're not talking about some system that doesn't change. We're talking about the change, and you're saying the change causes twice as much energy. You're saying to change from 30 miles an hour to 60 miles an hour requires twice as much fuel, okay, as it required to go from 0 to 30. That's what you're saying is true. I'm just asking you to, you want to show me?
Hello, everybody.
Alright, got to turn that volume up here. I don't know how you can fix any of this crap. Yeah, you can just turn it on and off. I hate these short videos. I really do hate them.
We've got some breaking news. According to Draft Science today.
Alright, so you might have enough of them. So he's making a joke. Some sort of mockery or something, because I've pointed out that the only way you could really say there was any inertia, okay, any resistance to change, is because of friction. When something's on a surface, there is a resistance to it moving. I can't just hit it with a fleck of dust and cause it to move, because it has to overcome the fact that it's essentially glued to a surface. It's stuck to it. And so you have to overcome that stickiness before you can get it to have a new inertial state, which is moving. And if the friction remains, then it's not going to move very far. But anyway, so I said in space, you don't have friction, so there really isn't any resistance to change. You could take even something as big as the moon or the earth, and you could literally hit it with a piece of dust, and it will literally absorb the energy and move, because there is no friction. Now, I guess the complication would be they could be gravitational influences that are sticking things to each other, and you're not going to overcome those, but you would give it more or less velocity in its orbit. So anyway, continuing.
There's been a big mistake. There is no inertia in space.
Yes, there's no inertia anywhere. The word inertia is basically a word for nothing. Nothing happens until something happens. You need a word for that? Nothing happens until something happens. Nothing changes until something changes. I don't think you need a word for that.
all those wrong calculations they've had. Who would have thought?
So what calculation are you talking about where something, because it's twice as light, it takes 4 times the energy to move? Where's your calculation showing that somewhere? Where's the calculation that says the lighter object on the lever further out has more inertia, whatever that is? That's all. I'm just asking you to explain. You're saying it has more inertia. What does that mean? What the fuck is inertia? The same force will propel it with the same momentum. That's a fact. So explain where this inertia comes in, and somehow there's different inertia for the different objects. We don't have any different inertias. Shithead.
They could have saved a lot of fuel, couldn't they?
So again, you're the ones who are arguing they're paying per mile or per foot to get into space. I'm the one arguing that, yeah, they already figured out what, I've been arguing, that the mileage rate is much improved the faster you get through the gravity. You just do so much better. Are you contesting that? That the faster you get into space, the less fuel you'll have to use to do it? Do you have a counter argument? Anything? Fuckhead?
I thought I'd bring it to you because it's...
I thought I'd bring it to you because I'm an asshole, a douchebag, a fuckhead. An annoying, obnoxious shitwit. Alright, who can't make a physics argument and just does this shit. Buffoonery. A clear and obvious Brozosian. I mean, it's the Brozosian theory of physics. Ay.
Astounding. Yeah, only inertia on the Earth's surface, of course, because of...
Yes, because you're going to say the magic word that is the whole context of my point, which is friction is the only thing that makes space different than here on Earth. Is things in space aren't going to have a, hey, I'm rubbing against the Earth problem. Fuckhead.
Friction.
Yeah, so I said the word, the context, so why don't you explain how there's still some kind of problem? Things don't know how to move in space. And somehow it doesn't have everything to do with momentum. That is, how much mass are you attempting to move? And that's all there is.
We should have realised this a long time ago. Yeah. No inertia in space. Oh, it's amazing.
So again, more bullshit. Yes, there's absolutely, you really want to see inertia, you go to space in the sense that there's nothing. There's nothing resisting movement. There's nothing saying change can't happen. You're the ones arguing there is something in the way. There's some resistive mechanism. I'm asking you to show me the resistive mechanism.
I thought I'd bring it to you, Breaking news. We better tear up the textbooks and start again.
Well, that is true. I mean, it's just a fact that the textbooks are full of, I can't even imagine what they're full of now. Because now electrons don't have a place in the universe. Everything's a Wu particle. There's 400 Wu particles. I imagine how what are they, the Higgs boson? Do they talk about those things and dark matter and all the other crap they've made up? Shit. Just keep being the asshole that is your, your whatever, your little homunculus, the little inner core of asshole. Bravo. So great contribution. Thank you.
You guys know how much...
Yeah, that guy was more informative. Thank you so much. I mean, that was just so revealing and so informative and so interesting. Oh, wait a minute. It wasn't any of those things. All right. Fuck. So that's about it. Okay, there's really no news anywhere. The Dispar guy did do previous versions. Okay, there were 7 months ago of the balancing lever thing, and there were all kinds of stupid ways he did it. So it's not even worth going over. Again, I still can't understand what their point is. They're going to prove that somehow there's less energy or something. I don't know. But it really doesn't get to my point that they can tell 9 pounds from 9 pounds. Something weighs 9 pounds. It weighs 9 pounds. You can't make it weigh something else. But they can't even understand that. Alright. Well, this should have worked, but it didn't. I guess I have to do this. Yeah. Oh, I have to do some work. Alright, so we'll play this little crappy video because it has the little momentum thing in it. Might as well just do it real quick. Should be a serviceable little video to just illustrate something. And you just ask the question, and then will anybody answer the question? That's the... What the hell is going on there? I don't have any idea why there's 2 of those. Alright, let me turn this off. Yeah, that's it. So somehow this has attached to the same window, which is weird. Okay, well, I'll fix that later. Alright, now this will probably be too loud. Okay. I don't know. I didn't play the sound on this before when I played it. So, can't be sure what the hell they're saying. I just said, okay, it's the right experiment, so we might as well play with it. What am I looking for? Yeah, live. I guess I'll pop this chat crap out while I'm here. Okay, accomplish that. Let's see if it fixed it. Yes, it did. Okay, well that's better. Slight improvement. Take what we can get.
Found the lost temple and can finally loot all of the treasure. But as you try to do that, you realize that the chest...
Oh, so this one sucks, actually. So this, they're just comparing throwing a boulder versus throwing a ball, and then they figure out that a bullet will break through the glass because it's the same force in a smaller area with a smaller mass, blah, blah, blah. So no evidence of kinetic energy anywhere in the video. Okay, just pointing out. All right. But that really wasn't the video I wanted. I think I wanted this one. The ticker tape one. Alright. Commercials. Commercials. Really irritating.
Conservation of momentum.
On science.
In this experiment, we will investigate the conservation of momentum during a collision. The apparatus, a dynamics trolley, a rail track, a ticker timer, a mass piece of known mass, ticker tape, and a 12-volt battery with leads. The method: set up the trolley of known mass, capital M, on the rail, feed a length of ticker tape through the timer.
It's only 2 minutes, so it really shouldn't be that bad. So anyway, this is kind of an old way of measuring velocity by a standard mechanism. So the faster you go, it leaves dots that are further spaced. I don't know what to compare it to, but it's a nice mechanical way of measuring velocity.
And attach it to the rear end of the trolley. The timer has been set at 40 Hertz. This will give 40 dots per second. Hold a mass piece of known mass, small m, midway above the rail, allowing the trolley to pass underneath it. Switch on the timer and give the trolley a gentle thrust, sufficient to let it run the full length of the trolley. When the trolley is below the mass piece, let the mass piece fall onto the trolley. When the run is complete...
So, not very complicated. So you're just turning... So in this case, they're only using 25% increase in the weight. So it's not the full well, it's a 50% increase in the weight, but it's not a full, like you're not changing a 5-ton train into a 10-ton train. But as you'll see, it's the same experiment in the sense you're just trying to see how much does it affect the momentum, adding the extra weight. And the truth is it doesn't affect the momentum at all. But somehow, if you calculate the kinetic energy, which they don't, you've lost 33% of the energy, or whatever the number would be.
Remove the tape and calculate the velocity of the trolley before and...
Alright, so this isn't a perfect example actually, because I should have stuck with the one where they're doubling the mass. So here's the numbers. Alright, let's get all the way. Oh, they do this on top of it. Okay, so you see 19 to 18. So it lost a tiny bit of momentum. That's it. So they've done this with again, doubling the weight of the cart. So you double the weight of the cart, and yes, momentum says everything's about what you would expect. You lost a tiny bit of the momentum by adding the weight, but nothing, not much. And the event is pretty uneventful. There's not much happening. I mean, you're basically adding a force in neutral direction. You're adding, any force you're adding is not opposing the movement. So you should be relatively efficient. But the fact is you've lost half the kinetic energy. So if I double the mass of the cart by dropping the weight on it, I lose half the energy of the cart. The cart going this way loses half its energy because I added mass this way. And clearly there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence that deformation or heat or noise or anything consumed half the energy. So it's just another example that just kind of demonstrates that the kinetic energy theory doesn't seem very viable. I mean, and then you have the logical argument on top of it, which is, well, if you conserve the momentum, that is, you lose almost none, how can you make sound? And how can you make heat? And how can you make deformation? Because those things all require momentum. Those are changes, okay, of inertia. You can't change something without applying a force, and to apply a force, you have to use momentum. At least as physical forces go, the ones we can see. So yeah, you could shoot it with a laser beam or something, but I'm just saying from these mechanical experiments, you're relying on some other carrier, some other matter that's carrying force to affect the object. And I don't see any way you can escape the logic that if you're going to make deformation or sound or heat, you're going to have to do those things by applying something physically that has momentum. And you're going to have to use its momentum. So the argument is the 8-pound bowling ball going twice as fast, for example, that's supposed to have twice as much energy. It really can't move pins with anything other than its momentum. There's nothing else for it to give away except its momentum. So how can it possibly move more pins? Because it's only got the same amount of momentum as the 16-pound ball going 8 miles an hour. So you can't really use an argument that's, it's got more energy, because it won't be able to display it in any way, because the only way it can display its energy is by losing its momentum. So, these are what I call arguments. Now, I would, be interested in a counter argument to something I said in this video, put in some sort of reasonable form, but it won't happen. So this has one comment. 25,000 views and it has one comment. Can I get the answers? Yeah, the answer's right there at the end, you moron. But yes, they do post some kind of crap on
per
top of it.
second. This presentation was
Well,
brought
maybe
to you
that.
by...
Anyway, so whatever. So we'll leave that at that, and yeah, maybe it'll just be another short video. Yes. Yeah. So Brozo, you know, it's been days now. He's supposed to have this video. He already did it. He already proved this experiment. You know, he's got this better, whatever, lever launcher, and he's going to show us that it's, you know, the twice as light object, twice as far in the lever, only moves 0.4 faster. So everything I know about a lever, he's going to debunk. Well, we'll see. But we don't have that yet. So I can't show it to you because we don't have that yet. Alright, so let me just check to see if there's any. If there's nobody in the room, then I guess I'll just get the hell out of here. So what do we have? 5. It says. Where's the other place that used to tell me stuff? There's all this key crap. I don't care about that. Weird, it didn't switch to the analytics, which it usually does. Strange. So there's 6 viewers, okay. Used to be a way I could watch the chat in both windows, but I don't see that anymore. I don't know how I did that. That was a mistake. Yeah, so. Alright, so I'll give you a couple minutes, but that'll be it. In case there's somebody here who wants to say something, but otherwise I'll move along. Until there's something to talk about, there's nothing to talk about. Yeah. Until the state of the argument is elevated to some point where somebody produces something called a reasonably decent experiment, credible. Yeah, all I can do is make the simple arguments that I don't see any way that something can move something without losing its momentum to do it. So a something that has energy is always going to lose its energy to whatever it interacts with, or vice versa. It's going to either get energy from something it interacts with, or it's going to lose energy to the thing it interacts with. But there's no other choices. You can only transfer momentum. You can't make it. So you can't make kinetic energy. And you can't lose kinetic energy. You can just gain or lose momentum, is the simple argument. And there's just no reason to believe in anything else. No good reason. No logical reason. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, so I guess we'll be moving along. So till the next time and such and so forth and whatnot. This has been a draftphysics.com video presentation. Debate physics also, and such. Debatephysics.com. Really shouldn't have to say that, right? Really shouldn't have to inform people who are going to understand physics. Whatever. Ugh. People. Don't like them much.